Okay, reading from the Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta, chapter 6, text 79. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Śrīmān Uddhava uvāca, rāja-rājeśvaratā-vibhūtīr, divya-vastūni, bhavattaḥ, kāmayante, nyad, apīha kiñcid, amutra prāpyam, bhavantam. Śrīmān Uddhava said, "The people of Vraja don't want from you the power and wealth of emperors, nor the enjoyments found in heaven, nor anything else obtainable in this world or the next. They desire nothing else but you. Om Timirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Taksur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Sa Padantikam Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, let me share with you, how I give class. The first thing is I just spend a few minutes reminding myself what is the context of the story. And then I try to see within the verse something I can say, a realization or a reference, something that I have that I think is some significance. I also, especially when I'm in America, I wake up early and I chant a lot, because the access of memory has a lot to do with the mode of goodness. And I've been doing this for 50 years, so somehow there's a lot in there in terms of, the Shastra, etc. And by doing that, I try to get to what I call the level of unconscious competence. Somehow or other, it seems to work better than just taking notes, etc. Now, I have to say today, none of those things are here. I'm probably at least 3 hours behind in my rounds, what I do. And I haven't really gone over the text. So I really feel, wow, I don't have access to my memory today. It's an amazing phenomena. When you're in that kind of mood, and it's all, you can go on, you're speaking and your mind is also working at what the next points are. And then as you're going and presenting the points, you know exactly where you began, and you can go back to that. So I also spoke last class that when I get into these situations to kind of empower me with some sense of authenticity in what I'm saying, I try to explain the challenge I have, or I perceive I have in presenting the class. So I think because this is such a powerful story, and another thing I don't like to read too much. Like in Govardhan for years, and I admire them so much. Vaisheshabhru comes and Keshav Bharti, and they would read 5-6 hours a day. And it was so not how my mind works, wanting to ask questions like you do, and I admire them, their level of taste. Can you imagine that? They do for Kartik, and then they have marathons on special days. Especially when communicating, it's good for reading, but to read to others, because when you're reading yourself, you can stop, you can think, you can analyze, you can see how this point is relevant, you can meditate on it. But when you just read to people, I find this personally, is that the good speaker is really, it's sarvasya chaham hidisani vishto matasmite jnanam. I'm situated in everyone's heart, and for me comes remembrance, forgetful knowledge, and Krishna empowers you to understand how your audience is thinking and respond. You have to be flexible in that way. As you're speaking and as you're feeling the audience response and as you're understanding them and how they're understanding what you say, you have to be flexible and kind of change. Reading doesn't offer that facility. That being said, I do feel to go back and come up to where we are, just because the drama and story is so powerful, and it'll give me and everyone else a frame of reference to where we're at. And then I'll be able to speak to text 59. So I want to get to the point. Let me get to that point. I may skip some of it. I'll go back too far. But just to put it in context, we had this discussion going on, and I broke it down to 2 points. Are the recipients of Vrindavan, are the residents of Vrindavan recipients of Krishna's mercy? And because they're suffering so much. And if they are the recipients of Krishna's mercy, why doesn't Krishna come back? And we know that Rohini and Balaram was saying the residents of Vrindavan are suffering so much, they're not recipients of Krishna's mercy, and Krishna is not merciful to them because he won't come back. And then we have Uddhava, who looked at their suffering as an example of Krishna's mercy, because it demonstrated the level of their devotion. Ashlishyava padaratam panastumam adarshanam mamahatam karotuva. You may make me brokenhearted by not being present before me. You may crush me by your embrace. But you are my unconditional Lord. So Uddhava argued that way. Although he did question why he was upset that Krishna didn't go back, because they had that love, but he wouldn't deny their mercy, that they got Krishna's mercy, because that was Narada's search. So he was saying, look at their devotion. And of course, Rohini and Balaram said the suffering of the residents of Vrindavan is beyond explanation, and Krishna is not kind to them because he doesn't come back. And then Rukmini and Satyabhama didn't deal with their suffering or their condition. It dealt with how they perceive Krishna's love for them, even though he didn't go back. And it all focuses into this one point. What is the condition of the Brijbasi's love? And it's in the story, it's going to bring it to the point in a very intriguing, interesting drama. The best is yet to come, to actually highlight that point, because at the beginning, in the commentary, in the verse by Sanatana Goswami, he explained what he is trying to demonstrate through this incredible drama that we've all been on, which is the topmost limit of Krishna's mercy. And he wanted to demonstrate that to us. So now we will just read from the book. And as this is happening, and as Balaram has been explaining how he was imploring Krishna to go back to save their lives, Krishna said he should go, but you can tell a man by his actions. So Krishna's somehow, we saw beforehand that Krishna, the covers were over his head and he hadn't gotten up. And it was going to explain the purport, it's going to let us know why. And it happened to be this suffering for the suffering of the residents of Vrindavan. It's going to explain later why he couldn't go back, which seems strange. We'll just go back and relieve them, and he explained why. It's a very interesting answer. Stay tuned. So now we'll read. Parikshit said, hearing this, the personality of Godhead, who is ruled by the love of those dear to him, suddenly got up from his bed and came outside, loudly weeping. And when you read this, try to put your, try to see what sense does this make of Krishna's feelings and him not going back at the same time. It seems such a contradiction. From his fully blossoming lotus eyes rained a flood of tears. With a choking voice, tormented by compassion for others, he spoke as follows. What kind of compassion is this? He's tormented by compassion for them. That's why he hasn't gotten up. Supreme Lord said, yes, it is true. My heart is made of solid diamond. It must be so because it has not yet split in half. But even he's saying that with tormented by compassion for them. So he's condemning himself, but still, why doesn't he go? He should go. Why doesn't he just get up and say, yeah, Balaram, you're right. I feel so bad for them. I should go back. But there's a reason he doesn't go back, and it has to do with his love for them. Those devotees took care of me for so long, from the very beginning of my childhood, and still I have not forgotten all about their exceptional love. So feel the rasa also. All the expressions of love. Krishna remembering how they took care for him. and saying how I haven't forgotten their love. Be that it as may, I must somehow do something to help them. I have indeed been cruel to have caused, O gentle souls, such extreme grief. Okay, I got it. Why doesn't, I got it, Krishna. Okay. You feel bad about it, so go back. Oh, brother Uddhava, you know everything, and you are the best of my dear friends. Please tell me at once what I should do. Please lift me from this ocean of distress. So Krishna is saying, okay, what should I do? Just tell me. Now, Uddhava has already seen Balaram and himself imploring Krishna to go back previously. So when Krishna asked this question, tell me what to do, they're not thinking he's asking, well, just go back. They're because they've already been through that with him before. So Uddhava is kind of really disappointed. What should I do? He's really puzzled. Why are you asking this question? Do you want to make the previous solutions, giving me a message of sweet words, giving Nanda Maharaj, sending some gifts back with Nanda Maharaj, sending Balaram there to pacify them? So Uddhava is just saying, he's just, why, how? Why? Parikshit said Devaki was loving to her son and was a dear friend to Nanda's wife. She said, you should give your best well-wishers whatever they want. So she's also thinking, just give them something, pay them off. Because she was thinking, she's thinking Uddhava's question, well, I should go. So she's saying, she's the mother. She doesn't want him to go. She's saying, well, give them whatever they want, but not you. So this is everyone has this expression of love. The spiritual world is the ultimate community because there's a common interest, and that's God. And there's nothing separate from God. It's the ultimate community. And people who really, in their hearts, are devoted to God can create a beautiful community because they'll have there'll be something more important than me. As one person once told me, there was a brahmachari and he was very fired up, and then he got married, very dynamic brahmachari, and his realization was, I found out that there's something greater than me. There's something. What do you say? I think life's not just about me. The ultimate community. And this is also unity in diversity, because it's all about love of Krishna, even though they have different opinions how to do it. And then Padmavati speaks, and she's also fearful that Krishna will leave for somehow, and she speaks up, and as usual, she's ignored. Kamsa's mother doesn't have a high standing. Parikshit said, although the Supreme Personality of God had heard these words, he pretended he had not. Driven by sorrow, he then inquired, she didn't listen to Padmavati, he inquired from Uddhava as though ignorant. The Supreme Lord said, O best of learned scholars, you know all the thoughts of the residents of Vrindavan. Tell me without delay, what is it they desire? And again, Uddhava is thinking that what do they desire means then you can give them, you can pay them off. And having heard these words from the Lord, the despondent Uddhava was taken aback. He sighed briefly and then answered full of remorse. So he was saying, tell me what they want. You're going to pay them off again? This didn't work before. Tell me what they want. Be satisfied with what? So he really was upset, Uddhava. And Uddhava said, the people of Vraja don't want from you the power and wealth of emperors, nor the enjoyments found in heaven, nor anything else obtainable in this world and the next. They desire nothing else but you. Kindly favor me with your attention. Think over what I'm about to say, and then act as you see fit. So he's the advisor, and he doesn't like Krishna's answer, but he still, especially in these type of hierarchical relationships, and I'll write something one time, and I think I'm going to write based on when we're doing the Shringa Leela, and there was the Rajasuya sacrifice. Yeah, and there was the Rajasuya sacrifice, and the big thing was to install head of the assembly, and how important hierarchy is. But in a sense of not someone who's dictating, but authority who's caring. A person taking, a person who has the authority by not only his position, but by his qualities, and by his, more importantly, even by his culture, to take decisions that are not self-interested, but takes decisions by their wisdom, which is good for everyone. It's touchy, because as Kali Yuga progresses, people who take that positions of power think first about themselves rather than others. So all these things are nuanced, how you have to think about them. I can't pronounce, I never do, the French author Tocqueville. He said, he wrote a book, Democracy in America, and he said the result, what does he say? Something that, when you take a consensus of what things should be, it becomes low class. Where traditionally there was some type of aristocracy in the Vedic times and in different cultures. A priestly class, a Brahminical class. And then the universities had this special role of the one place in society that dealt with every other aspect of society to preserve its values. I think that was one of the main purposes traditionally of universities, is to preserve the values. Because you look, even like Dronacharya was a Brahmin, but he was a military person, so to preserve those values. So it dealt with every aspect of society, and therefore the university was so important in that way. So Krishna says, he says, okay, think what I'm going to say and do what you do what you want. And then he explains what happens. You're talking about gifts, because he's thinking that he's talking about, gifts, because he knows the past. That's how Krishna would traditionally try to satisfy them. He said, before, when the cowherds met Nanda and saw the jewels and other gifts you had sent them, they spoke with one another. All of them were immersed in an ocean of grief. Magna Shuk Ambudao. Suk Ambudao. An ocean of grief. Magna, submerged in an ocean of grief. So all this is Rasika. this love of Krishna submerged in an ocean of grief. Because that prema so much had this strong desire to be with your beloved. Just to gaze your eyes on your beloved. Not in a selfish way, but to express the emotion of your heart that had to be released. I love you, I want to serve you. And connect it with that object of that rasa in the heart. Oh, how very painful. Krishna now thinks we want such presence from him and deserve this kind of mercy. Why is he treating us in that way? Who's going to be satisfied in separation from someone and then they send you some gifts? Let's say, I don't know, like a loving child, and he leaves home, and the mother is dying, and the father is sad, and they were good parents, and they were loving parents, and their child just, went off to India, or went off here, or went off there, and they're begging him, and the father says to the mother, the father says to the child, calls him, please just come back and visit your mother. Your mother hasn't been eating. She hasn't seen you in several years. And then you send back a gift. Because the conveyance of an object represents the consciousness with which it's given. So if they already decided that it's not an expression of love not to come back, then sending something seems very cheap. When in another instance, when you're with whatever, you can come back and you send something, or you're there, you bring something, then that same object has such an expression of love. So I like this concept of bhakti, that objects are expressions of love, and it comes right from Srimati Radharani, who's Mahabhav Sarup. She's the form of the highest love, and therefore she has the best qualities. And it's such a nice concept of beauty. And I'm not talking, or any of the arts, as communicating the highest values and ultimately universal love. Therefore, damn our lives and the breath that we still moves in our hearts, and damn Nandan the coward men. They should have left these things behind and instead brought Krishna himself. How do they feel like that after so many years? And he promised he should return, and he sends a message and says, I will return, and then sends some gifts. How much love is that? Really, if you love me, you'll come back. Thus the residents of Vraja, including your mother Yasoda, gave up all hope of your return. Already dead, they now refuse to eat at all. And this is not just a protest to get what they want. This is a protest in relationship to how they feel, that Krishna is their life, and without Krishna they have no life. Nanda felt like someone who committed a great offense, and for 3 days he was utterly miserable. He was so utterly miserable he couldn't say a thing. But then, to save the lives of the residents of Vraja, he induced those people to believing your departing words, I'll return. With so many honored promises, Nanda skillfully used logic to prove your words true. In this way, he placated them. No, Krishna will come back. He sent the gifts. He's there with his mother, and then he has to spend some time. His job is not finished. Some demons have to be killed. He's very torn by this decision of not coming back. But these gifts really express his heart. They are his love. And he will return. Don't worry, I guarantee it. And in situations like that, hopeless people grab on. They just want a little hope just to live. Purport: to assure Krishna that his devotees in Vraja was still holding on to life, Uddhava described in these verses how Nanda Maharaj, knowing that his responsibility was to encourage the others. So this is when Krishna first left. The first person came back was Nanda. Then, I'm not sure, then Uddhava came, then he sent Balaram. So this has been going on. Krishna sending people to pacify him. And Uddhava really doesn't want this same ploy, because each time it becomes more difficult. In these verses, how Nanda Maharaj, knowing that his responsibility was to encourage the others, pulled himself out of depression and reminded the Vrajavasis of Krishna's promise to return. Soon after killing Kamsa, Krishna had sent Nanda home from Mathura with his assurance. Now, dear father, you should all return to Vraja. We shall come to see you, our dear relative who suffer in separation for us, as soon as we have given us some happiness to your well-wishing friends. So he initially had an excuse. Come on, my real parents hadn't seen me, and I have to spend some time there. Nanda used the best arguments he could devise to persuade the Vrajavasis that Krishna still intended to keep his words. Nanda said, our son is an honest person who always speaks the truth. He has first sent us these things as tokens of his love. He is sure to come back quickly as soon as he finishes what he has to do in Mathura. He has business. He loves you. Don't worry about it. He's always thinking of you, and therefore he gave these gifts just to indicate his love. It's not just a token. I know you're disappointed, but try to understand his side. He hasn't seen Devakinanda and Vasudeva, and he needs some time before he goes. They just saw him, and he has so much business. Purport: for Nanda, Krishna will always be his son, regardless of Vasudev's claim. And Nanda believes that his son is honest. Krishna sent the gifts not as a calculated attempt to manipulate the sentiments of the Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta, but simply out of love. As Krishna promised, he is certain to return. He has been delaying in Mathura for so long because of the many obligations he has to fulfill there, like removing the threat of Jarasandha. These will take a little more time to complete and then come back to Vraja. So this was his logic. The residents of Vraja, all simple-hearted people, trusted Nanda's words. Thinking about your loving affection, they accepted the jewelries and put on their bodies. But this you sent Nanda, and then you sent Uddhava, and then I went, and then Balaram went. Now you also want to send gifts. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. It worked previously because Sarala Manasa, Sarala means non-duplicit, simple-hearted people. Simple-hearted people. And Pritim Savala, considering your affection simple, it worked before. Purport: the Vrajavasis felt no special pleasure in adorning their bodies with this jewelry, but they did it anyway to satisfy Krishna. It was not in their nature to doubt other people's motives, and they found it especially hard to distrust Krishna. So they're simple people. Sri Krishna-katha samagatya prasada dravya sangahat vikhyagya palakam asman nitaram kripa yishyati. They thought, when Sri Krishna returns, he will see how we have followed his order by accepting these remnants of his enjoyment. Then he will show his special mercy. So, okay, now he's returning. Now these things have special meaning to us because we can wear them. Just like if someone gives you a gift, it's just simple psychology. If someone gives you a gift and you really accept it with love, and you really accept the gift with love, then when they come, you'll wear it. I know someone gave me some gold jewelry for my deities. It probably cost $100. I think they took some gold that the family gave them. They made little gold. And it's such a little necklace. And it's so easy for someone like me who is macro-orderly and not micro-orderly. When I organize a festival, I can see everything, but the details, but on a broad scope. But little things, I'm just so forgetful. And then I saw, oh my God, I lost it, and the person's coming. So you want to reciprocate love by showing people that you value the gifts that they give. Purport: the Vrajavasis, considering themselves already recipients of Krishna's mercy, but they know that his mercy can always increase. The more they please him by their exclusive surrender, the more he will favor them. Therefore, just to please Krishna, they feign happiness even in their greatest misery. Bhavan swayam agatva yam sandesham samarpimam prahino tena te sarve babhuvor nihita. But you never came, you sent me instead. And when they heard the message you had sent me, they almost died from disappointment. Okay, so they were pacified, and then you didn't do anything. You sent me with a simple message. Purport: Uddhava complains that although the Vraja devotees acted with simple honesty, Krishna reciprocated in a completely contrary way. To send Shri Uddhava a message telling the Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta to be satisfied with meditating on him as the all-pervading supersoul is nothing less than a cruel deception. In the message Uddhava read, Krishna told them, "You were never actually separated from me, for I am the soul of all creation, just as the elements of nature, either air, fire, water, and earth, are present in every created thing. So I am present with everybody's mind, life, intelligence, and senses, and all within the physical elements and the modes of material nature." Bhagavatam 10:47-29. This message from Krishna shattered the Vrajavasi's hope of his returning. Seeing them so despondent, I made every effort to keep them alive by promising you would certainly come back. Then I returned here. To attain you, these devotees then renounced all enjoyment of the senses and the material shelter. Please ask your elder brother here what state they're in. Pariksha continued, from the dread of the great pain of separation from Krishna, the faces of the ladies, like Devaki and Rukmini, were pale, downcast, and full of tears. Looking at these women affectionately, gentle-hearted Krishna quickly gestured for an ink pot and paper. So now he loves Devaki, he loves Rukmini, and when Uddhava is basically suggesting for them to go, now they're despondent. Purport: Krishna was so shaken by Uddhava's statement that he was unable to speak. He could make known his desire for pen and paper only by gesturing. But if Krishna was so anxious about the Vrajavasis, why did he not go to Vrindavan at once? Because Krishna is so soft-hearted, capable of making his devotees suffer, he was reluctant to leave Devaki and other beloved devotees who were in Dwarka. But that's a minor reason why he didn't go. Krishna meant to strengthen the faith of his Vraja devotees by sending them a letter filled with loving sentiments and written by his own hands. My dear friends, please know that as soon as I settle the duties before me and satisfy my relatives here, I shall return in no time. I will be there. Uddhava surmised what Krishna was about to do and was therefore greatly distressed. Knowing the inner hearts of the Bṛhad-vasis, he cried and begged Krishna to reconsider his plans. You're going to write another letter? Don't do it. You know how they feel. Uddhava said, "O Master, please turn your attention to this. Unless your 2 lotus feet make a blessed journey to Vraja, there is no way to assure people there, to assure your people to assure that your people of Vraja will survive. These people want nothing but your lotus feet." Okay, we'll stop there for today. It's getting more and more dynamic. I don't want to stop reading. You can read ahead yourself because the drama is very wonderful. Okay, Jumunajaya, you can always start. It's always nice. You have a point to share.
Hare Krishna Raj, thanks for class. Yes, the drama is building. I'm feeling so bad for Nanda Maharaj right now. Like, he's a man such of his word, like when he came back to Kamsa, so I can feel how horrible he must feel. But I really love, you started off by saying you can tell a man by their actions. And then you made the point about a hierarchy is not dictating, but caring. And when you made the point, I think the quote you were thinking of about the consensus, this is what I've heard, which I was thinking about hierarchy, is that when we take a consensus, sometimes we land up with the lowest common denominator.
Yeah, it can, and it could be better than dictatorships, which has the absolute lowest common denominator, but it's good. Our thing is kind of benevolent leader. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I was just really appreciating the thing about that. A leader is caring and not dictating. I really appreciated that.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, a leader who thinks about himself is one thing, and a leader who's qualified that thinks about what's best for everyone is good. So then you have, you have a democracy that will think better than a dictator, and you'll have a benevolent leader that will think better than a democracy. So those are the 2 choices. Gail? Okay. Anybody else like to say hello, point, appreciation?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Always
Thank
great.
you very much.
Always great to see you next to your books.
Thanks for the great class.
They're great to see you.
Thank you.
Very well. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Krishna Mai, you're back in Albany?
I am, yes. It was so lovely to see you yesterday. It was a great day.
Yeah, I was so happy to see you so blissful. Just because, to get that kind of Sanga and those kirtans by wisdom of the sages.
So blessed.
Okay, great.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
I'll be upstate in 2 weeks.
Wonderful. Will you be doing any classes?
I'm thinking on the weekends, maybe on a Saturday, I'll let you know, the 22nd, 29th, maybe try to have a class, because Sri Rupa and Ishwar Sundari will come up the 22nd, and Ati Sundari and Kelly will come up the 29th, so maybe I'll let you know. Okay,
thank you. Very well.
Anybody else like to say hello?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Bhakti Devi. Okay.
You know how I told you can't take the city out of you, Maharaj?
Yeah.
Well, the way you were explaining it, what are you going to pay them off? That was so Brooklyn.
Yeah, that's true. But I'd rather do that and not live in a crummy apartment. And that's your, but it was great, the Rath Yatra, to see everyone, and so much kirtan. And the best, as it gets later, it gets better, because the energy of that kirtan, there were three different, great, there was the wisdom of the sages kirtan, then there was another booth of kirtan that was dancing, and maybe the Brooklyn Temple, and then there was a Ram Roy and Madhava thing, and then there was, the main stage. And but I have to tell you, I'm Superman, you know that. But it really, it kind of like I don't drink there, and I don't really eat. And then when I get back, I eat something, and probably all the wrong things, like cold drinks here, not sugar drinks, but kavita and things like that. So the day after things like this, I'm surprised I got through the class.
Great, Maharaj.
Well, it's the same strategy I have. It just always works. Go back and then, get comfortable, and then go back with the verses. But that was great. But nice to meet your husband again, and that was great. And meeting Jamuna Jaya's husband. It's always nice there. Yeah, it was kind of nice. But the Wisdom of the Sages booth is really where the action is. There's so much kirtan there. And no, I can't say that where Madhav is. All those kirtans were great. And it
was great.
Spectacular seeing those three chariots coming down Fifth Avenue. And, to get Fifth Avenue, that's like 40 years ago. They're grandfathered in. And it's the Yoga Maya that allowed them to have the Hare Krishnas in 1976 get permission for Fifth Avenue. Who can get permission for Fifth Avenue? It cost the city millions. The city's got all the policemen. They cut the things down, the traffic. It's but it's something. It's something. But we're going to have our July 4th festival, and we're going to really. I'm sure we're going to really have some great kirtans. Saturday nights is going to be mostly just kirtans. It's going to be we'll really have some good people there. I know that.
Where were you just talking about being upstate on the 22nd? Where's that?
I'll be at Super Soul. You want to come? You can come out there.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
I think on that day, let me know, because Jai Subhadra and Ishwari Sundari will come up that day.
Okay. Yeah, I can drive up for the day.
Okay.
All right.
See ya.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks,
Haribo.
Maharaj. Haribo.
Anybody else want to say hello?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you for class. Wonderful.
Great to see you, Amala.
Good to see you too.
It was great. You got the perfect look for a bodyguard. You're just my assistant, It was great just coming with me. It's nice to have an assistant holding that bag with my books.
Yeah.
But it's great to get all that association, those kirtans, huh?
Wonderful.
What time do you guys get back last night?
I got back to Albany about 10 o'clock-ish.
And okay. All right, that's not so bad.
Oh. Once a year, it's not bad at all, really.
Okay, Haribo.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Anybody else say hello?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Is that Georgia?
That's Georgia.
Okay, Haribo.
It was wonderful seeing you yesterday.
You had a nice
And-
time?
I had a great time.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
And I'll
Great.
see you on the 22nd with Sri Rupa.
Right. We're going to look at the place, see all, the rooms, how everything's doing.
Yes.
Okay, Haribo.
Haribo.
Anybody else say hello?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, this is Lal Govinda. Thank you for class.
You're in the Bhakti Center?
Yeah, I have a haircutting class today, so I stopped here for darshan, and now I'm going to go head
What-
to the class.
You had a haircut? What'd you say?
I have a haircutting class this morning
What do you mean a haircutting class? In the city?
in the city. Yeah, I'm taking a course,
Okay.
and then I'm going to meet Vraja afterwards at Brooklyn for the Kirtan Festival.
Oh, okay, great. You'll get that in. That's nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else like to say hello?
Haribol.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. This is
Krishna
Kamalata.
Gurudev.
Okay. Okay.
Yavatsundari is here. Thank
Okay,
you very
Hari-
much for the class. Maharaj.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Hemalatarada, you there?
Yes, Maharaj, thank you so much for class. I am enjoying and relishing this classes so much.
Wow.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate your reading Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta.
We have such a rich tradition, isn't it?
Yes,
In so many
so
ways.
many books.
We just have to take advantage of it, right?
Yes,
Um,
thank you so much.
I'm glad your situation there is good, developing a little community, and it's good. Okay. Haribo, thank you. Anybody
Thank
else?
you.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj, this is Krishna-katha. Thank you very much for the class. And you explained to us how Krishna values all the gifts of love. And we should appreciate also the gifts of love that we get. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Haribo. Good. Anybody else say hello?
Haribo Maharaj.
Whoa. Oh, I thought you were in his house in New Jersey. Anyway.
No, I'm at Bhakti Center.
Who's giving class? Oh.
Gave class. Sri Prahlad.
Wow. Haribo, I wish I was in your class.
I wish we were in yours.
Yeah.
Yeah, with that 6th chapter, Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta, it's wonderful. That's what we're up to. Hey, who is that? Is that wait. Hey, the Shringer. ¿Cómo está, señora?
Bien.
¿Todo está bien?
Sí.
Yeah, he was here playing some mridanga.
Well, he's having the time of his life. Okay.
He is. He really is.
Hi, Krishna Maharaj. Nice to see you.
Yeah, you missed yesterday, but you got today. So it's wonderful today too. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm just going to completely crash out today. There's nothing. Nothing today. Absolutely nothing. Hey, Bo, nothing. I got through my class, but now I'm just going to.
A lot of sun, right? A lot of sun.
It's not just the sun, it's drinking mango lassis, it's eating the wrong foods, it's not drinking any water, it's getting sun, it's coming back late and being hungry and then eating and just doing everything that a normal person, 74, would be sick for 2 weeks. But okay, Haribo.
Thank you.
Anybody else say hello here?
Hi, Krishna Maharaj. It's Don Cayley.
Wasn't too bad getting back at 10?
No, and I actually enjoyed staying later. I got a lot of great association.
I can tell you from 4 to 6, after all that kirtan goes on, is when it really, comes up the consciousness,
Yeah, I'll plan to stay late for the upcoming Rath Yatras.
Yeah, nice to see you.
Yeah, Jim and I are just grateful that you spent the week with us. It's a highlight of our year, so thank you for the service.
People could see the door there of my kutir outside of the temple room. It's great. To the right is the river. Okay, who did you touch base with?
I saw Rati Krishna and Sri Rupa and yeah, I mean, so many people.
And you know, I met after so many years, Leela Vrindavan. Do you remember her from person?
I don't think I.
Okay. Anyway. Okay. Hare Krishna. Anybody else say hello? Okay. I'll just look at the list of all the people that came, thanking them all deeply for coming to class. Hare Krishna.